do not want to have to confess to this, but my Airbnb business sucks so bad right now, and I think I should probably talk to you about it so you can learn from my mistakes. Now, I'm not one to try to trash talk people that I work with, my team. I like them. They're great people for the most part. But as some of you know, I am now recently back running my business after taking a year off. I've been back at the front of the company for about a month, and I'm just seeing some stuff. I'm seeing some stuff that shouldn't be the way that it is. It's huge mistakes. It's costing us money. It's costing us reviews, and it's just doing business the wrong way for the wrong reasons. So in this video, I'm going to talk to you about some mistakes that I'm trying to clean up as we speak. Like, these are real mistakes that I haven't even got through yet. Like, they're happening. It sucks. So learn from my mistakes in this video and let me make you a better Airbnb host. Welcome back, YouTube world. It is kind of cool to be a CEO again. I'm not going to lie. The year off was really nice, but I was really itching to get back into something. And all of a sudden there was a need for me to come in here and, clean up shop a little bit. And I don't want to be unnecessarily hard on my team, but there are things that have to get fixed within our organization if we want to be an organization. And sure, even watching this video could hurt somebody's feelings, but as the CEO of a multi-million-dollar company with 150 properties, it's not my job to save people's feelings. It's to save the company from making mistakes that can cost its livelihood or reputation. So yeah, I'm going to be a little stern, and it's important to do so. As a leader of an organization, you guys need to be able to balance that level of tact and that uncompromising vision for whatever it is you're trying to achieve as a organization. Summary, and I'm going to give you some really heavy examples here, but the summary of what's going on is we're running our business too much like a business, too operationally, and we're running it from a position of pessimism, is how I'm going to diagnose this. And what's dangerous about this is we are a hospitality business. There are businesses that do a great job with risk management, right? And making sure you don't overpromise or, you don't put yourself at too big of a risk. But in hospitality, you should be swinging for the fences to service your customer at all times. And there's some things that I've been noticing inside the chat threads because, taking a year off, I wasn't reading our conversations with guests. Here's an example that has happened multiple times in the last couple of days. Somebody would ask for check-in instruction clarification. And just so you guys know, we use a Google Drive, like a Google Business thing for our check-in guides. We don't store them on Airbnb so we can send them to a guest when we're truly ready for them to check in, because sometimes a guest can get a check-in guide, check in early without permission, cause a fiasco. And so this is one of those operational risk mitigation things that we've done. Now, I'm not sure if I don't like that. It might be fine, right? It could be cool to use the check-in guides on Airbnb and just not give people their door codes right away, stuff like that. We could do something like that. But this isn't one of the ones that I think is like our egregious, operationally driven problems. But when somebody sends a message asking for clarification on their check-in, like check-in instructions, like what the unit number is or how parking works, our staff just responds, "Hey, we've already sent you the check-in guide. Please see our previous message." And that is just so bullshit. Like, sorry, pardon my French, but that is like the least effort response on the planet, and that deserves a 2-star review. That says, hey, we don't care, right? We already helped you once. You only get one. We're not even going to be here for you. And I really hate that because that's not hospitality minded. Instead, if you want to not do what my people have been doing and you want to not make this mistake, anytime that somebody needs any help at all, you should go, what is the most impressive thing I can do right now? What's the way that I can be the most helpful right now? So at bare minimum, you could copy the link to the check-in guide that you already sent them, paste it again and say, hey, here's a copy to your check-in guide. Then just also answer the question so they don't have to click on the link to the check-in guide, but now they have the check-in guide link if they want it. And then offer any more help. Like, I will be here for you if you need anything else. Thank you so much, right? And that message is a much more above average effort response to the question at hand. And so these are the types of things that I'm talking about. Hospitality mindset. And these types of things can compound. Right now we've been dealing with this whole Airbnb algorithm thing. And yes, there was an algorithm bug. I've actually found the secret, and I'm going to be doing a webinar on this soon. So join my free Facebook group, the hosts of Airbnb Automated on Facebook, if you want information on when I'm going to be doing this, how to unbreak the algorithm, because a lot of you, if you have empty calendars, you're going to need that. But it's not only just the algorithm. The flaw in the algorithm is balanced out by the fact that some listings just aren't performing quite well enough, and it's causing a downward spiral for the most part. And so when you have these types of issues where, guests aren't happy with this or that, when you don't run them extra supplies, if they show up to an apartment or a house and they're missing a couple towels or it's low on body wash, if you don't jump to fix those situations to give them the best experience possible, this will come back in your reviews, it'll come back in your occupancy, and then yes, a combination of a slow season and an algorithm bug will cause you to have 0 bookings. So we all need to step up up our game if we want to stay in business. This is a service-based business. And I can tell you, since I fixed the algorithm bug, I've actually set up 4 new properties and they all got bookings at pretty much exactly the 24-hour mark, because Airbnb can hold listings up to 24 hours for review. And so, they take it, they hold for review. Some people, they unlock your listing like 2 hours later, 3 hours later. Ours, they tend to hold ours almost 24 hours. And we've been getting bookings right after the 24-hour mark. So I can tell you that the bug isn't permeating anymore. And even the listings that we have that had like no bookings when the bug hit, we're starting to get bookings on those too, thankfully. So hopefully that's all put to bed, and I can show you guys in a webinar exactly what we did to like re-jump our position in the algorithm. It'll work. And to be really honest with something that I find kind of distasteful within the company, there's just a lot of gassing each other up for no reason. We treat people way too sensitively, and this is a philosophy problem for a winning team. We have these meetings every 2 weeks, and I've actually told the company we're going to do these every week now. But when we go through and we look at reviews, Haley had it set up where we would do 1 negative review and 1 positive review, right? Hey, here's a negative review, here's a positive. What I think we should be doing is going through every single negative review, looking for things that are wrong and fixing them. And the positive review read off that we do is just so that way people feel less bad about the fact that they're negative reviews. There's really no purpose of reading the positive review. They should all be positive. So that's one thing that I want to change right away, is hold the company to the standard. We are the best at what we do, right? We have 150 properties. We don't get this big for no reason. And at this point that we should expect 5-star service from our team, our staff, our cleaners, everybody, and we should expect 5-star reviews in return. We shouldn't be reading the 5-star reviews and going, oh, hey, that was so nice. That should be expected. We have a serious backbone problem in our culture, and I'm going to be shaking it up now that I'm running the company again. There is a book called Multipliers that talks about this kind of phenomenon. You can be a leader that really just makes everybody hate you. It's true. You can like steal all the energy from a room and people are like, oh, this guy, right? Those guys are the ones that tend to think that they know everything, won't take anybody else's solutions. They need to be the one that champions every project. They need to be the one in the limelight, in the center all the time. This is not what's going to go on, and this is not how you actually will run your business. Multipliers talks about how we can make people better by giving them true appreciation for what they do right, but tell them what their expectations are and hold them to a high standard because they are a high quality of person. We don't hold them to a high standard because you, the leader, are a high quality person. It has nothing to do with you. You don't say, oh, I'm the best, so you have to be the best too. No, it's like, hey, you over there, you on my team, you're the best at this. And because I know you're the best at this, I'm going to hold you to a standard and you're going to perform and we will win together and you're going to get your flowers for the part that you play in this big complex game. And you will have the respect and the notoriety for the work that you do. But it is on you to be the best. And I expect that from you, because if this company is going to be competitive, we all have to show up and play 100%. One thing that I don't quite have a fix for yet, and I'm really hoping to get fixed, is how people jump on projects or don't. Part of the algorithm fix, we had sections of our listings that we needed to retweak, right? All 150 listings needed a tweak. And I outlined, hey team, these are all things that have to get done. Now I'm here in Houston setting up 16 apartments and I can't do all that stuff myself. I can't do everything at once. And so I put it on my team's shoulders to make adjustments to all of our listings. And days later, it's not done. And I'm going back to my team going, hey, we need to have this done now. It's a very clear issue that's costing us money. Somebody please do it. And we don't have anybody who jumps on it. Now, this is splitting hairs because what I'm asking the company to do is to have this sense of ownership and autonomy where somebody would jump in, where 4 or 5 people could do the job, but one person jumps in and says, hey, I'll do that right now. We have a couple people in the company who can do that, but they wane in and out of whether or not they want to. It's an engagement issue. And the fact that the other 3 people of the 5 qualified persons never do that is probably also why the 2 that are capable are not wanting to do it all the time. They feel like they're the only 2 that really put their skin in the game, and the other 3 people sit along the wayside. They're going to feel an imbalance within the company. They're going to feel mistreated. So it can go a couple of ways. I have to tweak the 3 that don't jump up and say, yes, I'll do it, and kind of crack the whip and get them to like rise to the challenge of being just like their peers, or I have to let them go, which is also kind of sad. Or I have to incentivize the 2 that will do it and start to create an imbalance in a performance style pay structure maybe, and give them maybe more so what they deserve. Now the other 3 people will get kind of butthurt because the other 2 are getting paid better, but the other 2 are the ones that take initiative. And that is a mistake that was created a long time ago, which is that we did not breed a culture of initiative and solving problems. And another example of this is when we have an issue, we could simply start to Google solutions to the problem. Right? The people who discover the problem, a guest communicates with their central team, says, hey, there's something wrong with the heater, there's something wrong with the TV, there's something wrong with the door lock or something. Our central team who knows everything about all the listings could literally Google a solution to a problem and figure it out without asking their superior for a response and then waiting for that superior to get back to them. They could actually take the initiative to solve the problem themselves. And this is another thing that I'm hoping to drive into the company is this: I have the power to solve this problem for the guest, and it means so much to me that I get to be the one to solve the problem for the guest because I'm in the business of solving guests' problems, and this is how we thrive in this industry. If I can get my company to fall in line under that one major principle, which is our guests are the most important thing on the planet, it's the only way that we're in business, and it is our goal to take every opportunity to impress upon them how much we love them. We will take those opportunities. This is what our company needs to do to survive in this industry because, like I said in a previous video, this isn't a product-based business. This is a service-based business. And so now that I'm CEO again, we're going to play house and we're going to try to Ritz-Carlton the world to death in the short-term rental space and really start to drive an impressive quality of service. Because, like, for example, this apartment that I'm in, where the 16 that I'm setting up, they're like B- class properties. They're not very special, but you can give somebody 5-star service in a B-class property and they will give you a 5-star review, which is a huge competitive advantage for us if you stack it all together, right? You have cheaper properties, which means you can be more price competitive. You have hourly housekeepers, which is one of our specialties, pay by the hour. We lead them, hopefully keep them engaged, keep them happy, which is something that I'm working on. And then they'll do cleans for half the price or a third the price that our competitors do. We have a highly responsive pricing model that I built myself, which I teach to my students, which allows us to generate revenue in situations that other people can't generate. And of course, I'm one of the biggest nerds on the planet. So when this algorithm bug hit, I was deep in the nuts and bolts of the software to try to figure out what it was. These are all advantages that we have, and we can press those advantages and outcompete our competitors who think that you have to buy expensive furniture and pay expensive rents or buy expensive properties in order to get a 5-star review. And those people have been leaning too much on the product that they offer, and they are not really focused on the competitive advantage of the people that they have. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk on that one. And even if you don't have a team, you might be suffering from the same thing. I'm going to be real. I burned out at one point too. I started in this industry end of 2014, early 2015 at a few apartments, and I was fine sometime until early 2018. In 2017, February, I had 10 doors because the Super Bowl hit Houston. I'm like, you know what, we're going to set up some properties and make some money for the Super Bowl. I didn't grow that portfolio until the summer 2017 when I started this YouTube channel. I still only had 10 doors. But then from there, after starting making these videos, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to grow this business to prove to the world that rental arbitrage is a thing. And I really only grew this business because I told you guys I would. But what happened is once I hit about 30, 35 properties inside of Houston and started expanding to Dallas, I was getting really burned out because I was the one picking up the phone at 1 a.m. whenever a guest had a problem, right? I was a really good specialist, but I just didn't have enough energy to do it all and be a leader at the same time. So I burned out. That's when I finally started to hire more management staff because I needed a solution. I wasn't going to go out of business, so I had to start hiring management staff. And this could be right at that line that you guys are at. A lot of you have 10, 15, 20 properties, and you're running it on your own. You have your housekeeping team, you have a couple of customer service reps, you've got a handyman, and you're just doing it all. At this point, you really do need to hire somebody to take full days off your plate where you can have down days. And you need to truly separate on those days, which means you should shut your phone off and let things break in your absence, and then force that manager that you hired to deal with the fact that things are breaking, and you'll see and they'll see that you guys survived. Even though it went terribly, you still survived. And this will make you less nervous about taking days off, and that will make them feel more empowered about handling issues, because even if stuff breaks, you're not going to fire them. These are the things that people need to have made clear. And so you need to truly separate if you're in this position and let things break while you're gone and kind of let that ego and that worry shed away, and then you'll start to really feel good about your days off. And then your rest will be restful, because if you take days off and worry so much about every little thing that could go wrong in your company, you're not going to get any rest on your days off. I will say there is a blueprint to building a company like mine, over 30 properties, 50, 100 doors, how many housekeepers to hire, what VAs should be doing, what your local management team should be doing, how to compensate really rare team members like maintenance guys, movers, designers, stuff like that. All of this is in a blueprint that I teach in my mentorship program called Cracking Sucrose. So if you're in my free Facebook group, you can reach out to me, Alberto, a guy named Enzo, a guy named Donnie. They're all part of my onboarding team. Or if you're not in my free Facebook group, join my free Facebook group and start to ask around. Most of my students have Airbnb properties already. That's really where I shine, is helping hosts grow. Yes, of course, I'm really good at getting new people into the business, getting landlords to give them free rental arbitrage arbitrage is great for newbies because it's a cheaper way to get into the space. And of course, I've pioneered how to get landlords to say yes, so we're good there. But really, beyond that, a lot of my students have 50, 100, 200, 400 doors. And you can too. You can continue to grow. You aren't dealing with a Airbnb problem if you're watching this video. You're dealing with a you problem, a growth problem, a leadership aptitude problem. And you can get past it. It just takes some work. So I'm here for you if you need anything. Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your feedback. Thank you so much for watching this video and listening to my problems. I will see you on the other side.